how many of you have ever gone on a diet? Almost all of you. You bulk and cut, bulk goes great, but then you lose most of the muscle you gain while you're on that bulk. And so if you want to learn how to keep all that muscle you built while on a cut, diet, deficit, well, this is the video for you. Coach Greg, in today's video, it's all about Joe Delaney. Just discovered this guy. He's a natural bodybuilder, has an amazing physique. And so I wanted to really dig deep and find out, does this guy offer quality information? Should you listen to him? And so after watching a number of his videos, I said, yes, guy has quality information, highly recommended. And in today's video, we're gonna go over his thoughts, his feelings on what should you do to prevent yourself from losing muscle on a cut. And so how many of you have ever gone on a diet? Almost all of you. You bulk and cut, bulk goes great, but then you lose most of the muscle you gain while you're on that bulk. And so if you want to learn how to keep all that muscle you built while on a cut, diet, deficit, well, this is the video for you.
Building muscle is harder
than last time. Well, no, not really, because of muscle memory. It's easier than last time, the next time. You know what I'm saying.
Building muscle is harder than losing fat.
Absolutely. I've stated in previous videos, it takes at least 10 times longer to build muscle as it takes to lose fat.
You sometimes hear bodybuilders prepping for a competition and using the phrase grow into the show, which means that they're trying to gain muscle whilst getting really ridiculously lean.
And yes, it's true. You can in fact get weight a lot when you're on PDs when you're dieting, but it's certainly not optimal. Just because you can build muscle while in a deficit, while on PDs, doesn't mean you should just crash diet and throw away all your potential gains. And so imagine this. You don't listen to these principles and you diet and you're on PDs. At the end of the cut, you put on 3 pounds of muscle. Great. But had you listened to everything and done them properly, perhaps you would have put on 10 pounds of muscle. And so what stands to reason is what's good for a natural lifter is also going to work for someone who is enhanced.
Whilst it's possible for some natural lifters to gain muscle and lose fat simultaneously under specific circumstances, these are not those circumstances.
And so how much muscle are you going to keep while on a deficit or on a cut? Well, it depends. Some people could actually gain muscle while cutting. For example, a complete beginner, somebody who has muscle memory who came back after a layoff, or someone who was injured and is now returning to the sport. But for the most part, most people cutting, very difficult to build muscle, especially if you've approached your natural genetic limit.
There are 4 things that affect how much muscle you keep when losing fat. The size of the calorie deficit.
If you're trying to lose weight too quickly, perhaps 2-3 pounds a week, you're guaranteed going to lose muscle. You can't be in such a restrictive diet, 1,000+ calories a day, and expect to retain all that hard-earned muscle. And so the smaller the deficit, the better.
Now, a large deficit means that you can lose fat faster, but you'll probably lose more muscle. A smaller deficit means you'll lose fat more slowly, but you'll probably hold on to more muscle.
And so clearly it's better to have a small deficit, unless of course, as he prefaces, if you're extremely obese and in danger from yourself. If you're so fat that you're in danger, then you want to lose weight the fastest possible, which is why oftentimes you'll see 500 or 600 pound individuals going on 500 calorie deficits. They want them to lose weight and lose it now because their life is in danger. But if you're not that big, better to lose weight, perhaps 0.5 to 1% body fat a week.
Well-known paper from some natty overlords in 2014 recommends a rate of weight loss of 0.5 to 1% of your total body weight per week.
In doing so, you're more likely to have more energy, be able to train harder than last time, and not lose muscle on a cut.
You're not on a time constraint and you're not starting out from a very high body fat percentage, then most weeks you should be aiming towards the lower end of that range, around 0.5% per week.
Exactly. And so what I often see with coaching clients is people want to lose the weight way too quickly.
Oh, well, in the next 3 months, I want to lose around 50 pounds.
And so by all means, please try to lose the weight slower than last time.
Skip the part where you try and calculate your maintenance calories and instead just adjust your caloric intake until you're achieving a rate of weight loss within that range.
And I 100% agree with this. People trying to say, well, what are my maintenance calories? Let me type this in a calculator. It'll spit out exactly how much I need to eat. No, it's not going to do that. Everybody's different. Some people can eat 3,000 calories, others 2,000 calories, be at the exact same weight. And so please track your weight. If your weight is going down too quickly, you need to eat more. If your weight is going up, clearly you need to eat less. And remember, there's 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. And so if you're trying to lose 1 pound of fat a week, that's 500 calories per week. And so how exactly should you do that? Should you simply eat 500 calories less? Should you burn off 500 calories more? Or should you do a combination of both? Well, let's see, what does he suggest?
Your options to create that deficit are as follows. Consume 400 fewer calories, burn 400 more calories, some combination of the two.
And so I do have to agree with him. One option, of course, is just to eat exactly what you're doing and just burn off all those extra calories. The problem is, for most people to burn off an additional 400 to 500 calories, they're simply not going to do it with weights. And even with cardio, most people would have to do it for an hour. And so unless you have the time to add in 7 hours of cardio a week to your program, it's not likely going to be enough. And so if you're already doing cardio 150 minutes a week, I think option 1 perfectly viable. If you're not currently doing cardio, option 3, a little bit of both. Eat a little bit less and burn off a little bit more.
Number 1 is a perfectly legitimate option if you don't have a particularly voracious appetite and you don't mind just eating a bit less.
And if you're not sure how to decrease the calories in your diet by 400 or 500 per day, get my friggin' cookbook. It's got all your favorite foods made lower in calories, high volume, lots of protein, filling for the big eater. If you can't afford my cookbook, obviously just watch my videos. Watch his videos. It's easy. For example, switch from drinking 3 cans of pop a day to Diet Pop. You just saved yourself 450 calories. Already, you done it. You can easily lose weight by making small changes.
Reduce calories to a point that you think is manageable in terms of hunger and no less.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You can't simply starve yourself. If you need to create a calorie deficit, there's only so far you can go. There's only so much food you can cut from your diet. If you cut your calories too low, you're going to be hungry, starving. Eventually, enough is enough. And so at that point, you just have to add in more cardio. The more cardio you do, the more calories you're going to burn. And of course, there's a compensatory effect. When you burn off more calories, say 500 calories from doing an hour of cardio, your body is going to make you want to eat more. But not all of it, half, about 250. And so if you're on a 2,000 calorie a day diet, not doing cardio, and you add in 500 calories worth of cardio, your body is now going to want to eat 2,250 calories, but you're still going to have a 250 calorie deficit. In comparison, if you were to cut your calories from 2,000 down to 1,500, well, you're going to starve. You're always going to be hungry. The diet will not work. And so once you get to a sticking point, you're simply too hungry. You have 2 options. 1, accept the fact that for your genetics, that this is probably a healthy weight for you. Not everyone is cut out to be single-digit body fat. And so if you continue to diet, you're going to suffer. You're not going to have energy. Decreased testosterone levels, less energy, less strength, less muscle. Is it worth it? The other option, you can add more cardio. And so if you're trying to burn just 1 pound of fat a week and you're already at the bottom threshold, you're already getting really hungry, think of this. If you burn an extra 1,000 calories a day, you're going to need to eat 500 more. You're eating 2,000, now you'll need to eat 2,500. Why? Because of the compensatory effect. Your body is making you hungry. Increased ghrelin, you need to eat. You can't just burn off 1,000 calories, eating 2,000 calories a day, and think that it's hunky-dory. You burn off all those calories, your body needs energy to live. And so you need to up your calories to 2,500. And in doing so, you could continue to burn off 1 pound a week. But are you seeing how hard that is? 1,000 extra calories burnt per day in order to lose just 1 pound of fat a week. And so can you see why I say the slower you lose the weight, the better? 1 pound at that point, not realistic. 1,000 calories, even for Coach Greg, takes me over an hour. Most people don't have the time for it, and it's not healthy. You're doing too much cardio, you're overtraining. You can't rest and recover. And so the end result, you burn out. You get dissatisfied, you go off the diet, you binge eat, and you regain the weight. And then you repeat this process over and over, year after year, yo-yo dieting.
Hunger is unpleasant. It's what keeps you alive. It's an irresistible force. Avoid hunger, if at all possible.
As he said, hunger, it's an irresistible force. It's what keeps you alive. You're going to have to constantly fight hunger for the rest of your life if you really think you can get that shredded physique. Some people, they're blessed. They got the best genetics. They can just walk around 9% body fat, never hungry, eating whatever they want. But for the rest of us, you got to get a cookbook. You need to eat low-calorie dense foods. You need to decrease ghrelin. How do you think I maintain 9% body fat? You think I have amazing genetics to be lean?
Oh, Coach Greg said if you're dieting, it's a better choice to eat strawberries over bananas. Oh, that's stupid. Anyone can eat bananas and fruit.
Yeah, I'm not saying bananas are not healthy. I'm not saying it's not good for you. But what I'm saying is if you get shredded and you're on a serious diet at the bottom of your genetic set point, every calorie counts. And so if I eat bananas all the time instead of strawberries, of which bananas have 3 times more calories per gram, I'm going to gain weight. I will not be as full. I will need to eat more. It will be too difficult for me to maintain my current calorie intake. I eat about 3,500 calories a day, but as you know, I do a lot of cardio. And because of the compensatory effect, I have to eat more than the typical person. If I wasn't doing all this cardio, perhaps I'd eat 2,500 to 3,000 calories. But I wouldn't be this lean. I wouldn't be able to maintain 9% body fat. And remember, I've done this for decades. I have a master's degree in kinesiology. I know what I'm doing. Other people, they've read a few posts, perhaps they've been training a couple of years and say, oh, what Coach Greg say, it doesn't make sense. Just eat a bunch of nuts and health food, and you'll have no trouble maintaining the perfect physique. All you need to do is bulk and cut, lean bulk, and that's great.
Number 2, low impact, low intensity activity. I won't even say cardio because if you have the time, just walk.
And what kind of cardio does he suggest? LISS. Low intensity steady state. And for me, I like to say moderate pace cardio. Not Grandma Josephine slow walking around. Not running either. The harder the cardio, HIIT cardio for example, the harder it's going to be to rest and recover. You start doing a bunch of running all the time, your quads get sore, you get the DOMS. That is going to be detrimental to your ability to hold muscle as you diet, especially if you're natural.
Now, I'm not saying,
Cardio kills gains, bro.
but I mean, it doesn't not kill gains, you know what I'm saying?
And well, it does to a point. But if you do LISS cardio, slow and steady, moderate pace, not killing yourself doing HIIT cardio, running around, it's not going to decrease the muscle on your body. Just don't overdo it, don't overtrain. Trust me, you can do cardio and build muscle. And so if you run as he's demonstrating, well, that is not what you should do. This is going to kill your gains. Seriously, sorry. If you're a beginner, it won't. You can run, build muscle, no problem. But if you're an advanced lifter, you're close to your natural genetic limit and you start running, sorry, it's going to destroy your gains.
Just eat enough protein, 1 gram per pound of body weight, it's fine. You can get with a bit less, but a touch more is also fine if you find yourself more sated on a high protein diet.
And next up, your macronutrients. He suggests close to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, which most people are going to agree with. For fat, he says 0.5 grams per pound of body weight is enough, and frankly, that is way more than you need. You don't even need close to that. That would mean that a 200-pound person would need to consume 100 grams of fat a day. Certainly, you can get away with less. Not saying you can eat that much, but if you're on a very low calorie diet and you're eating 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight and 1/2 gram of fat per pound of body weight, there's not much left for carbs. And he is a fan of carbs. He states a number of times, you need carbs to feel your best. Some people, they can function with low carbs or on a keto diet, but for the most part, high performance athletes, me, perhaps you, I need carbs to feel good.
Minority of people do seem to function better on low carb diets, but most of us are going to have a better workout if we've eaten a decent amount of carbs.
And just look at this guy's physique. The guy's natural, shredded year round. This absolutely incredible.
Often the first step in a process towards losing muscle is actually just consistently shit workouts that come about as a result of a drop in energy levels.
Exactly. You go on a diet, you're in a calorie deficit, your energy goes down, you start going to the gym, you start training less hard than last time. And so what do you expect? Of course, after a cut, you're going to have less strength, less muscle. You're going to the gym, you're not training the way you used to, and so inevitably you're going to lose muscle.
And over time, those months of reduced performance coupled with the deficit eventually resulted in actual muscle and strength loss.
Stop striving for something that's not attainable for 99% of the population. Some guys, the best genetics, they can do it, but you're not them. And so stop trying to be perfect. Remember, your dream physique, Chris Bumstead, Chris Heria, whoever it is, you're not getting it. Halfway there. That's all you need to do.
For all intents and purposes, you should still be training as if you are trying to build muscle.
And so should you change your training when dieting? No. Whatever you did to get the muscle in the first place, you should keep doing it to keep the muscle. And so if you actually have to change the way you train, it's because you're cutting too hard. But there are circumstances when this has to happen. When you're cutting to be a bodybuilder, you can't train as hard as you used to. You can't keep all your strength. It's not possible. Think of it. You really think you can be just as strong at 5% body fat as you can in your off season when you're 15? No, you can't. You wish you could, but you can't. Even with PEDs, you're going to get weaker. Don't believe me? I tried it. Bench press natural, 451 pounds. On PEDs, test trend, everything, 402, barely got it.
The vast majority of people watching this video thinking about fat loss are probably in the high teens or maybe even towards 20% body fat.
And so I do believe that most people who want to lose weight have more than a couple pounds to lose. If you're at 17 to 20% body fat, that means 5 to 10 pounds, you would have an ideal looking physique. How many of you think you need to lose more than 10 pounds? Raise your hand right now. More than 10. And so if you raised your hand, you probably have a lot more fat to lose than he's suggesting.
Do not automatically assume that you are going to lose strength during a fat loss phase. The placebo effect is a well-studied scientific principle.
He's saying don't think your strength will go down. It's actually called the nocebo effect. He says placebo effect. It's the reverse placebo. When you think something is going to do bad for you, that it makes it actually happen. And so this is partially true. But the reality is most people cannot go from their current body fat percentage down to 12% without losing strength. And so what do I say? Do not allow your relative strength, as in your pound for pound strength, to go down. And so if you're bench pressing 200 pounds for 10 reps and you go on a diet, you diet down to 150, don't expect to still be able to bench 200 pounds for 10. But if you can at least do 150 for 10, then that is horrible. Your relative strength when you cut down should go up. If it's not at least maintaining or going up, then you're dieting too hard. But he is right. If you're at 17% body fat and you're only going to lose a few percentage points and you're far below your natural genetic limit, then yes, you can lose the weight and not lose the strength. But for the rest of you who have 10% body fat or more to lose, you should expect a small decrease in strength to happen when you go on a cut. But what I can tell you is if you try to diet to look like this guy who's single-digit body fat, almost all of you are going to lose strength. Don't think that if your bench press went down 10 pounds after losing 30 pounds that you somehow did it wrong. You need to expect a small decrease in strength, just not one in your relative strength. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Give Joe Delaney a follow. Great guy, lots of information, fantastic physique. Ending it here. Looking for HGLT subs, use code Greg. We got the Seco bar out. Also, training books, cookbooks, circle, diet book, coaching plans by me and my team. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm. Remember, there's a bloop there, one right there. Watch one of those. And until next time, I am out.